Everyone, here we are with ticker symbol RKT, Rocket Companies Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all my first time viewers and investors. Welcome to my channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all my subscribers, welcome back, and let's jump into this chart. So whoever bought down here at that 1780 mark, they have gotten this at a great discount. It was below IPO pricing, and from that point forward, it has been running up. That was a smart move, whoever had the chance to do that or get anywhere close to it. Even if you bought up here at 18 and close to 19, you're still getting this at a great deal. Now the question is it still a good deal here? So I want to go ahead and kind of go over this. So Rocket Companies previously was running up towards obviously the date of earnings. It was a wild run, right? We're not seeing that same wild run, and we're literally on to earnings on Monday. Now, the way they surprised with their earnings, they did a great job. I mean, it was a tremendous amount that they made. They might surprise us again. I don't think it'll be that big of a margin, and if it is, that's even good for the company. It might attract more investors, but you can see that their estimate previously was 1.43, and this time it went down to 1.09. So even though they may expect a surprise that's positive, they're expecting a less estimate, and they're expecting probably less. But I mean, if the numbers come out the same or close to it, that's going to be phenomenal for Rocket Companies when it comes to their earnings, right? So here we are with the bearish run after earnings, and it jumped back up around this point from the $20 mark, $19 mark, almost $20, because the realtor.com news, right? They partnered up, or they have some type of affiliation with each other right now, and they're doing business. So I brought it up. It brought it up to $24, and then it started to dip again, and that's where it hit these lows, right? That I had stated in all my previous videos that if it broke through 1830 or 1840, in between that range, give or take, this would start to hit newer lows, and it did. But from that point forward, it has changed trajectory. Now I want us to look for a second here. This is the income statement showing here. I would tell you to do your due diligence and look up income statements and balance sheets wherever you feel more comfortable. But I kind of want to go ahead and give you guys an idea. So 2017 and 2018 are very important. But something I want you to notice is that the net income has never changed for the company by much in the last couple of years. Their revenue might have changed, but their net income stayed the same, and that's something that I was seeing a problem here for Rocket Companies, right? Their revenue 3.69, and then their net income is 722 million, right? Let's just round that up. And then we see here revenue 3.83, and then net income is in the 600 millions, right? And then we're here again, and revenue is now 5.22, and it's back to close to not much different than 2017's net income, which was in the 700 millions, and we're in the 700 millions. So one thing I would say is that Rocket Companies needs to come up with a way with their revenue either staying the same, or even if it goes down, figure out a way to raise up their net income. Net income is super important when it comes to profits, and then obviously maintain a strong profit margin. If they can grow that over time as well with net income, or stay the same but net income is growing, then there we go. That's a point where we can go ahead and say, okay, their net income is growing with the company, and there is also some form of way to look at this and say, okay, the company is now profitable, because a lot of revenue doesn't always mean profit. And that's what we're seeing here. This is a small percentage of profit compared to the revenue. Now, one thing I have noticed when you go to the quarterly is that in 2019, their revenue wasn't too strong and their net income wasn't too strong. And then we come over here and revenue was in the 2 billions and their net income wasn't even 100 million. It was a really small percentage. That was the beginning of the year. And here we hit the part where we see tremendous growth here, and this is what I'm talking about. This is what we need to see more consistently, is that the revenue is in the 5 billions, but net income is in the 3 billions, and that profit margin now became 64.82%. This is what the company needs to focus on. Even if revenue was to be 5 billion all throughout the next couple of quarters, as long as this net income stays around this area or gets even closer, or if their revenue grows to 7 billion, well, this number should get closer to that 5 billion mark, right? Maintain the net income in these percentage rates and maintain it in that point where they're actually making profits, because revenue is just money coming in, but not counting costs, not counting the cost of the product or the service, and then dispersing, payments and all these different things and advertising. I mean, the revenue is just what came in. Net income is what stayed of what came in after obviously paying all these different things. So one of the most important things here is for this company to maintain net income. And we're going to see here in the next earnings what happened. How dramatic did this fall? Or did this grow? Or did it stay similar? Did it go kind of sideways? Because this is exponential growth here, as we can see. But now the question is, where is it going to go for the next quarter? Is it kind of going to drop? Is it going to go sideways? Is it going to go up? Because if it goes up, this company is growing. And I believe that if earnings is positive, obviously after earnings, there might be some people that want to get out and just call it a day and say, I'm taking my profits from when I purchased at $19, when I purchased at $18, I'm getting out right here. Okay, well, or up here. Well, that's their decision as investors. Every investor has their goal. But I believe that rocket companies, if it has a positive earnings, this won't be the same crazy run before earnings and then just collapse. I think that now they're being able to prove themselves as a company and show that they're on their way to growing and making themselves reputable, and they need to attract more investors. And the point of investing is for the growth of the stock to happen over time. And how do stocks grow? Through profit, because it builds up the value of the company and it attracts more investors to say, okay, I'm going to initially invest here so that my money can grow, and then more bigger players that are the big dogs like banks and different corporations and other investors that are the big fish and we're the small fish, like I always say, decide to jump in and say, okay, I'm going to put a portion of my investments into this company because my money can multiply X amount of times, right, over time. And the whole point of investing is to initially put a certain amount and receive back more than what you put in. So I think that Rocket Companies is on track to becoming more attractive to investors, especially big players. And if they can prove themselves, I think that this could be on its way to a healthy growth. We'll have to see after earnings. We'll have to see how earnings plays out. But I do want to go ahead and state that so that you guys are aware that there might be an opportunity here that this is going to continue to grow. This isn't going to be the volatility that we saw, because as you can see, we're leading up to earnings and it's not doing anything crazy like this. Monday's just going to let us know if earnings was beat and more investors are going to be attracted, or we're going to see how volatile this really is and people might just exit and say, okay, well, I did the run and that's all I was here for. There's all different types of investors. There's the swing traders, there's the day traders, and then there's also the long-term investors, and they might stay or they might say, okay, I'm going to get out, I'm going to get back in when it seems right. But I believe that rocket companies from this point forward, if their earnings is strong, they can have an opportunity to consolidate and start to work their way up to newer highs. We're going to have to see how this plays out, but so far rocket companies is looking good on their balance sheet. So far, we need to see what's going to come next, and then we want to see their yearly, because that's something else that we're waiting for, the annual for next year. Because right now this has been showing a lot of revenue, low net income, but for 2020 they might be able to show a large amount of revenue, which means they're growing, and then their net income, that they're becoming more profitable, and even leading into 2021 and the next coming years, Rocket Companies is going to continue to build a name for itself. So you got to think about companies like that in the long term. These IPOs, you think they come out just to, kind of hang out here and be at $18 or $20? No, they come out here to run up. I mean, this happens usually because of speculation, hype, and so forth. But I'm telling you, companies come here to grow, and also investors to grow with it. Obviously, we're all taking the risk with the company, but you got to do your due diligence and research on why you want to invest in that company. So I am done rambling about the company. I just wanted to go ahead and do that thorough analysis for you guys. I really advise you guys to go do your due diligence and check out things yourself. But I just wanted to give that insight to go ahead and also see what your guys' perspective is. If you guys want to comment down below, you're more than welcome to. I would love to hear what you guys think or have to say. So we're going to look at this very narrowed here, because this resistance level was slightly broken through, and that's 21.56, but our resistance level has slightly changed. It's literally on the dot there with where this stock actually leveled off. It's about a cent higher. And our support, if you really want to look at it in true terms, is down here. But I'm going to narrow this down so that we can pay close attention to the volatility of this stock. So we're going to go ahead and narrow this down to the T here, one of the lowest points before it continued to run up, and then also talk about this broader. So after breaking through this resistance, this can just go up to newer highs and new resistance levels. But our support here, which is important, but it is a little bit volatile if it was to hit down there, is 2061. 2061 is important because that is the first support level before this continue to run and come back up, and also the first support level below the 50-day moving average. Super important to keep that in mind. So I'd write that number down, but that would be a lot of volatility if it just jumps down there. But who knows? We got to see what's going to happen. Now, the 50-day moving average is 2086. I'd pay very close attention to how this stock is reacting at 2086, due to the fact that if this breaks through it, you'll be in bearish territory. But right now, we're above it, and we're in bullish territory. So for the bulls to continue the run, they need to break through 2175, turn that into a support, and break away from it to reach new highs and new resistance levels. Super important for the bulls. They need to break through 2175. On the other hand, we have what the bears want. The bears want to break through the first support level when this tried leveling off, and they tried bringing this down, and that is 2115. If that gets broken through, you have a small window between support and the 50-day moving average to pay close attention to how this stock is reacting and how quickly is it hitting newer lows. So be mindful of how this stock is reacting. You're still in bullish territory, so it's not somewhere to really make a quick decision depending on where your entry is or what you're trying to do with the stock. So I just want to emphasize to all investors, pay close attention to how this stock is reacting if it breaks through support, and how quickly is it moving to newer lows. If you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell if you feel encouraged or inclined to, so that you don't miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community, and don't forget to hit that like button to let me know you watched this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.